Hello, welcome to Kaiju 101 with yours truly, Professor Kaiju. We're talking about Godzilla Resurgence. Or Shin Gojira. Or Shin Godzilla. Because I think that was the title that they dropped at the beginning of the movie. I don't remember anymore. Got too hyped about this movie. So, thanks to Funimation, and let me just say thank you. Just a direct thank you to Funimation, because I'm sure you watched this video at some point. They have a limited theatrical release of this movie with English subtitles, no dubbing. There's absolutely no time to really dub this movie. That'd take a little bit too long, and it's honestly better this way. They haven't always known what they're doing with Godzilla. I mean, there's been plenty of terrible movies. There's been 28 of them, so I mean, they're not all going to be winners. But they did good. They did real good. Bravo, Toho. That was slow and condescending. I didn't mean that. I meant, like... That's better. Okay. So, I'll try to be as spoiler-free as possible. Trying to figure out exactly what is a spoiler and what is not. If I accidentally say something spoilery, I know someone in the comment section will let me know and tell me how terrible I am. So, thanks. Thanks ahead of time. Thanks for, you know, I'm sure you got my back. I'm sure someone's got my back. So, this movie gets straight into it. Okay, from the get-go, they get straight into Godzilla. There's waffling. So we see it through the eyes of the Japanese government. And as they're seeing this entire event unfold. And we go bit by bit showing how things progress. There's a giant water spout. Possible earthquake activity as a tunnel, an aqua tunnel, some, you know, like tunnel underwater, gets partially collapsed in, and then they see like some what looks like red in the harbor, and they're thinking volcanic activity. They're not really sure, and immediately it doesn't take 15, it doesn't take 20, it takes like 5 minutes or so, maybe 10. And they get into there's no, oh, it can't be a monster, and then you see Godzilla partially appear, and then we're strung along the entire time, and, oh, it's a giant monster. We know the fucking name of the movie, okay? Okay, it's got fucking Godzilla in its name. Duh. You know, we don't need this whole elaborate charade going on, like, oh, it can't be a monster. That's clearly photoshopped. They get into it, and it evolves, and that's the theme. That is the theme with this Godzilla. It's a new Godzilla. They redo his origins. They go back to they go back to something that's been radiated, something that's been doused in nuclear waste, and has become this monstrosity. And we see it through the Japanese government, and I've seen a complaint before that this movie is wordy. It is a bit wordy. A lot of Godzilla movies are wordy. A lot of Godzilla movies have unnecessary plots that have absolutely nothing to do with what is going on in the movie. This one is wordy, but they do it well, and what they're talking about actually involves the movie, actually involves what's going on. The government is bureaucratic, and they have to go through step by step of what would actually happen if a giant monster appeared out of the harbor and started wreaking havoc everywhere. You know, there's red tape, there's, is this your jurisdiction? I don't know, is a sea creature right? Is that defense? Is that agriculture? I don't know. I don't want to deal with it. Why don't you deal with it? Well, this is your thing, and under subsection B-Q. You know, it feels realistic in that way. That the government, the prime minister, they're all having to deal with this, and we see it through these people's eyes, not just as the eyes of a random citizen dealing with this, with the destruction and everything. We do get to see clips of citizens evacuating, we get to see panicked people in the streets, but the main focus is the government and what they're trying to do to help protect Japan. And I really like that. I really like the fact that it's them as a whole, and it kind of does center around one person a little bit in there, but not enough to make them like the main character. They're all the main characters. They're all this ragtag group of people trying to protect Japan, trying to protect their country. So they go through it. Godzilla's attacking, and step by step, they're trying to take it down. We get some America in there, which is funny, and apparently we're good for weapons. You know, we're aggressive. I found it pretty funny. Actually, the beginning of the movie is actually quite funny. There's a lot of like satire in it. There are some things that maybe a couple of times I felt like that would have probably been better in the Japanese audience, but for the most part, it hits home. One thing I kind of noticed in there, and I wish I couldn't take as much note of it, but as they're moving on, I noticed that you see some of the titles of these people. This person appears, and they have the subtitles at the top showing their title, and then at the bottom what they're saying. And on the top, it starts with like, I don't actually know bureaucratic titles, like CEO of Agriculture. I know that's not, whatever, just leader of agriculture, right? And then later it's like leader of agriculture and monster disposal, and leader of agriculture, monster disposal, and also nuclear waste of said monster. They keep like adding these things, and that's kind of funny. There's this whole thing of either they're taking on more responsibilities because they're trying to make new things for Godzilla, or because I wasn't paying attention, it could have been that they were added, like, I have to take now 3 people's roles, and that's my new title, and just fuse it all together. There's a lot of funny stuff about just them getting things wrong at the beginning, and Godzilla keeps like one-upping them. They're like, oh, it can't possibly do that. It did what? I'm sorry, you said what? I'm sorry, you couldn't have told me that before I said this in front of the entire nation of Japan. You're fired. So, yeah, it's a little wordy, but I think it works. I think it works very well. I feel like if I say anything else that's spoilery, and since I'm new to this, to not try to just, I'm not gonna blurt out everything. Let's go into Godzilla. Godzilla is cool. Godzilla is, he feels like something radiated. I worried for a couple still shots myself, especially after talking to a couple people, a couple of my good friends. I did worry that, like, maybe he's not going to come off right. No, he comes off as they call him, a god incarnate. He comes off as a monster in this movie. If, say, the early Godzilla, the Showa era Godzilla, after, like, Godzilla vs. Mothra and Godzilla vs. King Kong, when they started making him a hero, say that Godzilla was the good guy, the hero, then we got like the 1980s, 1990s Godzilla being like the rebellious teenager, anti-hero. I'm no hero, but I'm not a villain. I'm my own monster, and I'll crush whoever I want. This Godzilla is the devil. So, possible spoiler? It's not much of a spoiler, really, because they had it in a trailer anyway. The second trailer for the Japanese, because they had an American trailer too, but there really wasn't much comment on that. And the second Japanese trailer didn't show a whole lot to say. Plus, it had taken me a while to put up my other one, so... Anyway, you may have seen that there was some purple in Godzilla. And there is. And I will say, the scene, his atomic breath is back. I really doubted the fact that they wouldn't put it in. It has been a staple for Godzilla, and I think it'll always be a staple, other than the 1998 Godzilla, because if I remember correctly, they made it a fake out, like, oh, he's got atomic breath, not really, and it's like, I don't know why you're not giving him atomic breath, or her, or whatever it was. I can't remember if it could swap genders, or they said specifically it was female, whatever. Point is, Godzilla has purple breath, and he turns purple-y, the flesh underneath, and I will not say anything else on that. I will just say that it was... I can't just put into words, but I could show you about about the face I made during the entire scene, was something along the lines of... And that face went on for a while. It was good. It was good. It was really good. I love this Godzilla. I really enjoy this Godzilla. I would easily go see this movie again. I think I might... I would honestly would love to see it again just to pick up on some things that I may have missed from the first showing, or try to glean a couple things. But it is really good. It's really solid. They go back to Godzilla's roots, and after seeing this movie, it kind of pummels in, it kind of punches in the fact, it nails it, it cements it. I can't think of words right now. This movie cements the fact that Godzilla was always meant to be a villain. Or at least he is best when a villain. I think what Legendary is doing with their Godzilla is fine. I don't have a problem with that. I'm okay with Godzilla being a hero, or at the very least an anti-hero, or someone, he doesn't entirely care about mankind, but if there's another creature in the way taking up his territory that he feels threatened, or just decides to pick a fight with him, he'll fight him, and the end result is saving humanity. The byproduct is, oh, humanity is saved because Godzilla kicked this monster's butt. This movie really proves that Godzilla being a villain is necessary. Not necessary. This movie really proves the point that Godzilla being a villain, he's just good at it. It's just what it was. He was created as a monster, an engine of destruction. And that's what he delivered. He was an engine of destruction. He was great. Another thing I liked about this movie that I really did not like about Legendary, and it might be that some licensing problem. I'm assuming that it was licensing problem, or it could have just been that we decided, no, we're not going to do that. We're making this completely our own. This Godzilla has some of the original scores from Ikefube. I hope I pronounced that correctly, because his name is I always have trouble with his name. The original composer. They have some of the original scores to Godzilla's theme. They have some other scores that came from the very first movie that I haven't heard since basically the very first movie, or maybe one other movie they may have thrown into this, combined with newer music, combined with some amazing opera-esque tracks that we've heard one of them in one of the trailers. They had another one in there, and it was really good. They blended it really well together. This is definitely up there. This isn't just one of those, this is pretty good, but these other Godzillas talk about. I mean, this blew a lot of things out of the water. Toho really made their mark again. They know what they're doing, and I hope they continue it. I don't know if there's going to be a sequel, and I won't say anything else because, I'm not trying to... I don't know. I really hope that maybe they do something else with Godzilla. I know that after Our Godzilla, they had several films. I think about 6 films after Our Godzilla, or old Godzilla 1998. Kind of kicked toe in the button, just like they're like, we'll make Godzilla again. We'll make him great again. Hashtag make Godzilla great again. That was really bad. So, I don't know if this is going to launch more movies. I guess we'll see. I really hope so, though, Toho. Do you hear me? I really hope so. Do you hear me? Please, please, for the love of God, make more. Please. And also, Legendary, take note. I want a full essay on my desk next Monday or Tuesday. Heck, Wednesday's fine too, really, for me. Actually, preferably Thursday would probably be best for me. I have more free time on Thursday, so that's cool. But seriously, take some notes. Legendary, I'd be fine if you push King Kong versus Godzilla back a year, or even 2, so you could push back Godzilla 2 back a year or 2, so you can learn from this movie what to do. You can do it, Legendary. I do believe in you. I have hope in you. Your movie wasn't terrible. It wasn't terrible. But it could have been a lot better. That's all I'm asking. All I'm asking is for a slightly better version of what we got. And I'll be happy. I'll be happy. I can live a peaceful life. For the most part. I'll still complain about something, though. The rest of us will, too. And then people will be like, oh, it's still better than Godzilla 1998. I'm like, fuck you. Okay? Just get off your high horse of TriStar's terrible imagination, iguana Godzilla thing. Whatever. I don't care. I'm on the internet. I got a camera. I'll complain about it. Shut your face. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed my thoughts on this Godzilla movie. Or not, it's whatever. If you like it, that's really cool. If you don't like it, you can go away. You can go away, or you can tell me to go away, or you can tell me get a life, which I do. I do actually have a life. I enjoy it pretty well. I enjoy it, and this is going to be part of it. Hopefully, yep, this is going to be part of it. I'm going to talk about these things. And you're going to deal with it. So anyway, let me know if you think anything in the comment section. If you really liked it, cool. If you didn't like it, fuck you. Potato, potato, Anyway, thanks for joining me. This has been Professor Kaiju, Kaiju 101. I need to come up with an ending bit. And I'll see you at some point.